welcome to In the Lenses. This is our first official show. We're going to hopefully be doing these podcasts a little bit more often and reaching out to our audience members and, just trying to get this buzz going about all the things that we seem to be passionate about, tending to be comics, movies, games, tech, shows, anime, you name it, we're probably into it. I'm your host, MrMistaKing 712, and with me is my boy, TechBoy from Life with TechBoy. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, MrMistaKing. What's going on?
Can't complain. Nobody listens.
Thanks.
So,
True
man,
words, man.
it's been a terrible year. There's
To say the
no other
least.
adjective that's going to fit in front of that.
I would have to agree.
But I can't front if it wasn't for comics and whatnot. These are the things that definitely got me through. And amongst other things, like all the things that we talk about. And I'm able to kind of I'm happy we get to use this platform to kind of express that that particular passion. With that being said, man, I recently got the chance to write an article for the nerdslist.com. And one of the things that happened to come up was, one of the things I wrote about the article, in fact, were in particular related to Daredevil. I don't know if you remember the show. I'm sure everybody has.
The Netflix show.
Yes, the Netflix show that came out 2014, I believe. If I'm wrong, it might be 2012, but I think it was 2014, right?
I think so. I can confirm right now.
Yes. I want to see how good my knowledge is. I feel like 2014.
So from what I see, April 10th, 2015. So you're off by a year.
Yeah. Sheesh. All right. Well, with that being said, I've been a big fan of the series, even though I can't tell you when it came out. I've been a big fan of Charlie Cox, who was the showrunner of the of Daredevil. He was the guy who played Matthew Murdock / Daredevil.
It's a good choice.
Yeah, he did a great job. I've been really impressed. He did about 65% of his own stunts. The guy was dedicated to the role. One thing had just recently came out about a couple of days ago was that Disney, who did not have the rights to the character because of the deal that they had originally signed with Netflix, that deal is, as I'm aware of it right now, is currently completed. They no longer have the rights to the character anymore. I mean, they still reserve the rights to make a fourth season, which I'm pretty sure they're not going to. But there was a petition that went out originally back in 2017, 2018. I think it was 2018 when the show canceled, called Save Daredevil on petitions.org. And it got a lot of signatures, including signatures from our boy Tom Hiddleston, who played Loki from the MCU, saying Save Daredevil.
So quick question real quick. Who does Daredevil go back to? Because Disney owns Marvel. So who owns the rights to Daredevil?
So they own the rights to Daredevil as it stands, but they didn't own the rights to create a show because of the contract that they had with Netflix.
Got it. So Netflix kind of lost the contract back to Disney.
Right. So if Disney wants to do a soft reboot or some sort of reboot of the show, they can, and they might even could have access to the characters. But all of this is all dependent on whether or not they're going to want to go down that route and hire Charlie Cox back, hire back John Berthenol, who was the guy who played the Punisher, hire back Vincent D'Onofrio, who played the Kingpin. Like all of these characters from the NetflixVerse, because at one point they were part of the MCU, but then at another point they weren't. I don't know. They're supposed to come back. They're supposed to, but hopefully have access to these particular characters, and hopefully, if Disney's smart, they'll hire them back and bring them along, bring them into the MCU in some sort of way.
Right.
Especially with all the talks about the multiverse.
I mean, if if the characters are only licensed out, that means Disney, they're still making money off of it. So I don't know why you wouldn't. Like why have a character sit on the shelf? You don't really gain anything from having a character sit on the shelf, but you can, in theory, uh, you can make money off of these characters in many ways. And the example I would give is we have the MCU, and now we have the Avengers game, but we also have comic books. You know what I'm saying? So like the same core Avengers are all over the place. Toys, animation, cartoons, movies, live action movies, video games. You know, if you have people who are going to take the characters and build a franchise around them, and sorry, my dog is nuts. And why not? Like you know what I'm saying? Like why not take all your characters and license them out if it's going to meet your bottom line?
Well, two things. First
Mm-hmm.
one is you got to know Kevin Feige. He's playing the long game,
Right.
and he likes to establish characters in certain ways. And from what I understand,
Mm-hmm.
he did not get along with I believe the man's name is Jeffrey Loeb. He
The director
was
from
yes, he was
okay.
the from Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Loeb was not just the director, he was also the kind of like the catalyst for all of the NetflixVerse shows, which was Daredevil, The Punisher, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron
Mm-hmm.
Fist, and The Defenders. Um, all of which I liked. Except, well, I won't even say except. I like Iron Fist the least, but I did like Iron Fist. Yes, I did like Finn Jones as Danny Rand. Y'all can kill me now. Um, that being said, the other side of it is they still want to be careful, and I feel like I hope Feige's a better man than this, and I'm pretty sure he is. I mean, he's a dude I look up to a lot, but I think Feige might be playing the whole I don't want anything to do with the Netflix verse or our characters to be associated with anything coming out of the Netflix verse, and they might end up moving on past Charlie Cox and the crew, which would be I think a tremendous loss because they've done like an exemplary job bringing these characters to screen. And like I feel like Charlie Cox's like performance as Daredevil alone is like a big starking shiny middle finger to Affleck and his when he did it. And sorry, I just was not impressed, Affleck. I liked the chick that they got. Who was that? Jennifer Gardner, I think that was, who played Elektra in that movie.
I I believe so. I'm not 100% sure. I can't
Yeah, I'm not gonna go crazy find like looking it up. All I'm saying is the woman who played the Elektra in that was amazing, but also the woman who played Elektra in the show was pretty damn good too.
mhm.
But that's neither here nor there. I just hope that Marvel decides and Feige, because the choice ultimately comes down to him and how he's going to integrate the character, is that they give Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio and all the others another shot at the role. And this is the only one of those circumstances, because you and I have conversations about this privately all the time, that I would personally accept uh, as it were recasting, because I don't necessarily agree with recasting all the time. But um, this is not one of those cases. But the one time I would actually say that I would agree with recasting is the current dilemma that we currently are facing with Black Panther and Chadwick Boseman. I love that guy to death, obviously. Um, and I believe that if there was ever a reason to recast a character, cancer and sudden death would be it. And we're in a predicament where there have been rumors circulating coming out of Disney or coming out of Lord knows where, maybe Emergency Awesome. We don't really know, or Watch Mojo. We don't trust those, like completely trust those sources, but it's worth to know that broken clocks are right twice a day. Um, with that being said, the rumor is either Shuri's going to take up the mantle and they're going to have an off-screen death for Black Panther, or M'Baku might end up taking up the mantle. And I guess my issues with that is I just feel like T'Challa has a lot more story to tell. And as much as I love Chadwick Boseman, I don't believe that the character should be buried with him.
I'm on the fence. because I feel like just out of it can go either way. Out of respect, you recast, or out of respect, you don't recast. Right? It's not like a black and white thing. Um, and because every character, there's a lot you can get out of every character. You know, it's not just that. It's not just him. So it's tough, and I feel like they still have access to so many other characters. You know,
Right.
like we genuinely lost a hero, right? Like he was a
Word.
person that kids really looked up to. Like I mean, adults all the same, but you know, kids really looked up to him, excuse me, especially, you know, African American kids. You know, like we finally have a superhero who's on the main screen. You know, it's not like some side character, it's not some sidekick. He's like the main person. And he was like maybe I saw something, I can't remember. They did like a poll, and I think he was like the number one favorite character in the MCU. So we lost something huge. So if the actor that they pick can't live up to Chadwick, there's going to be a huge problem there. So there's a lot of little nuances in it, but I'll say that they Disney and Marvel, I'm sorry. Well, Disney owns Marvel, so both of them, they have a ton of black characters that they can also choose from. So, you know, we can possibly bring someone else to light who didn't get as much love. You know, so it's in the air. Like whatever they decide, I'm going to see the movie personally because the last one was amazing. If it's gonna have the same cast, the same directors, the same everything, just without Chadwick, I'm still gonna see it. But it'd
I,
be nice to just
I'm
see them go in another direction, I guess.
I'm nervous, and I appreciate your your loyalty. The world that they built and
Mm-hmm.
how well they craft and write their stories. And I mean, they do an excellent job at Marvel, especially with the entire Infinity Saga.
Mm-hmm.
I just I struggle a little bit with it only because be, there wasn't enough done to build up those ancillary characters that weren't black, like T'Challa. There wasn't enough uh, alluding to greater things for Shuri, or that we would see M'Baku go down a path of actually becoming the Black Panther and not the the man ape, even though it's technically racist to be the man ape. That's why
Right.
you want to see a black man dressed as an ape once 20. Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
But yeah, but that being said, you know, that's and not for nothing, I think people don't take into consideration the type of man Chadwick was.
Mm-hmm.
Chadwick was about us. He was about black people. He was for black
Right.
people. And I don't think he would want to see his role uh uh as it were, like, just like, I don't think he would want the role to die with him. I think he would rather see another black actor getting put to work and
True.
having an opportunity to kind of like making that character his own. And I feel like the only way people can really truly and honestly learn to accept it is that the fact that we have to get on board the fact that he did an amazing job.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for him, we would not have seen Black Panther come to light in such a way, and that we owe him so much for that, and that we
Yeah.
can continue to honor his legacy and honor his likeness by making sure his likeness
Mm-hmm.
is like continually shown and stuff. But
True.
we have to make space. There has to be space for somebody to take up like the role, and not just the mantle, but the role of Black Panther, and allowed to be able to make it their own and see what they can bring. So he may never, the person who replaces Chadwick Boseman will never be Chadwick Boseman, will never be that version of T'Challa again. We'll never see that version of T'Challa again, which is all the more important reason that they do move on with another actor so that person can make it their own, and everybody can rally around that character, or rather that particular character, as their own version of Black Panther.
Right.
As defined as it was, I don't want it to be the only version of T'Challa we end up getting to see this decade, because we're so used to Boseman in the role.
But another
And
thing to
I
think
mean,
about, I'm sorry.
go on.
Another thing to think about too is how long was the contract? Like was he slated for one movie or two? So if he was, for example, if he was only slated for one more movie and then they're gonna shoot right into phase 2 or 3, I don't remember what phase that we're
We're
going
like
into, but
5, I think. I think we're going to phase 5.
or something like that. So if it was just one movie left in the contract, does it make sense to cast another actor? Why not give him? If you're gonna give him some kind of a send off anyway, would it make sense to just give him the send off?
I believe there might have been 3. I believe there
Okay,
might have been
well,
2 more Black Panthers and another Avengers level situation. And plus, with the MCU now getting rights to the X-Men, Lord knows what that would have meant for the character storyline, what that
yeah.
would have meant for the Illuminati storyline between, Charles Xavier, Black Panther, Tony Stark, well, whoever they replaced Tony Stark with, et cetera, et cetera. But those are just my particular thoughts. And like you said, again, man, like you're ultimately in the right as far as like support for what I'm saying for black productions like the Black
Hmm.
Panther, and, and
Hmm.
and for order for them to continue to happen, we still have to show support regardless of how they decide to move in that direction. But
True.
personally, if we're talking about it, I'd still be a little disappointed if they never cast T'Challa and start telling some stories about how he wasn't that great of a husband to Storm. Showed a couple of no, the actress revealed cryptically on Instagram that the show has started moving forward and they started shooting.
I didn't know she was getting a show.
Kate Bishop is getting a show on Disney Plus,
All
and I
right.
believe that the guy who played Clint Barton, what was his name
In the movies or in the
in the movies?
um wow, I'm horrible with names today. I know
Me
his name.
too, bro. It's
I know his name. That's the thing. I know it. Um what is his name in the in the MCU?
Clint Barton,
Hawkeye. Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. Jeremy Renner.
There you go.
Jeremy Renner is supposed to be on the show as her Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hmm.
So that's moving forward. Like I don't know how. So there's been some stuff. So let's start at the top. That was released earlier today. Not even earlier today. A little bit, like maybe an hour or two ago. I heard about the information from Kate Bishop, her show, like starting shooting. I knew about it for a few months that they were going to do the show and it was going to be on Disney Plus as well as the Miss Marvel show, and
Hmm.
I believe the what's it called Moon Knight. Um, but it just seems like it almost coincides a little bit with the Avengers game releasing the Kate Bishop stuff December 8th. And I think that everything that they're doing with the Avengers game is more of a build up for this young Avengers team that eventually will be the new face of the Avengers as the older heroes start to age out and their contracts expire.
True. I mean, to introduce Kate Bishop wouldn't even be a bad idea. To introduce her to the MCU, because, like you said, we need some new faces in the MCU. Like a lot of the characters, a lot of the actors are getting older. A lot of the contracts are ending, and we don't know which characters are going to take off or not. But with them adding her to the game, I felt like there was something behind them adding her first to the game. I feel like it was something more to it because she's just like such a random character to add to the game first. When you have Spider-Man, when you have Black Panther, when you have Ant-Man, you have all these characters, She-Hulk, you have all these characters that people actually know, but then you add this specific character where mostly comic books know her. Um, so I always felt there was something there, but to see, like, I'm looking at it now, and I make sure I put them in, the pictures in, but looking at it, we needed something. I think they're onto something because we need some new shows, and the shows, in my opinion, should be connected to the MCU, but they should have different characters. And I think to start introducing people this way, now you have a character that is not just going to show up for, this big fight scene. You have characters that you're already developing in the same universe, just on a different platform. So, and you can now take these characters and now you can put them in a movie and then you can tell them to go home. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could just bring them in for their cameo. People are like, oh yeah, she was in the show. It's not like, oh wait, who is that? And you don't have to build a movie around them. You don't have to put them in 6 other movies first. You know, it's just they already have their thing. And I think that'd be amazing. And the same goes for the Netflix versions of the MCU. Now, if you were to bring them in as well, and if you're to create all of their shows and put it on Disney Plus, you know, now you can have Luke Cage in the movie. You know, you already have villains that you can now bring in. You don't have to recast. You know, like, you save yourself a lot of time and a lot of money in doing it this way. So it seems like it's a good idea. Like, at first, like, this is new to me. Like, I saw you guys posted about it earlier, but I was like parent teacher conferences and it was just a busy day, so I didn't have a chance to like read it. But now that I'm hearing it, like, you know, she's going to be in the game. So I'm assuming the show's going to be out 2021. It'll probably be mid 2021 because that's when all the movies and shows seem to be coming out next year for Marvel. From there on, I'm interested. I'm interested. If it's going to be like, we already see Jeremy Renner's in it. So if it's going to have a lot of the same cast and they just build around her, that would be interesting. I think it'd be good to see. And
They're
not
gonna be having,
cast, but you know what I mean.
There's gonna be some characters that we have seen from Agents of Shield as well as the MCU itself.
Awesome.
They're gonna be making either cameos or showing up for a couple of episodes and whatnot. The show's supposed to be crossing over a few times with Miss Marvel. I mean, like, I'm assuming the show's gonna cross over Miss Marvel. I don't necessarily know how much crossover there is for Moon Knight, because it's just weird. By the way, Moon Knight is being played by the guy who played Poe Dameron.
I heard. Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about that. I like that guy. I also liked his. I also
remember
heard
his name though.
I never remember artist names when the camera's on and we need to be intelligent.
I know, right?
Never remember these dudes. Like, yeah, you want to talk about video game stuff, you don't know these artists' name. What was his name? But he's also doing the voice of Spider-Man 2099 and Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse 2. Which I'm
heard about that. I'm interested to see that as well. I can't wait to see how they develop it. And that's another thing I think they did right, because from my knowledge, this one is supposed to tie into the MCU. So to have this come tie into the MCU now it's amazing. I think, you know, like, even if it doesn't, like, that was such a well-produced animated movie, like, across the board. Like, the music was phenomenal.
That's probably my favorite animated movie of like in the last 10 years. That might be my movie of the decade, but go on.
Yeah, I'm up there with you. I think as far as animated movies go, DC has that on lock. But the way they handled this was, I think, perfect. For me personally, I wouldn't change anything. I'm sure you can go and be a perfectionist and change this or whatever, whatever. But there's so many nuances that if you go back and watch it, I guarantee no matter how many times you've seen the movie, you're not going to catch everything. There's so much in there that they added. And like, I saw a video with, I think it was either the director or the producer, I can't recall. But he was basically saying, you know, there's so much in there. There's so much that we added from many different comic books. There's so much that we added from even the movies that you would spend a long time trying to find everything. So, you know, when things like that, a real comic book lover to find, I think that's amazing. And then, like, so they have, you know, the characters were great. The voice actors were like on point. The fact that it was like ethnic and, you know, it had like, it was like another black character, but it just felt like another
kind of like version of characters that already existed, including the Avengers, including the X-Men, and including Spider-Man. Um, in this particular universe, Peter Parker ends up having to fight like some of his like worst villains, uh, and like a verse version of the Sinister Six. Ends up defeating them all in front of his house and dying. Um, in this universe, also, the Prowler, Aaron Davis,
Mhm.
happens to be doing some burglary of Oscorp at the beginning of this particular run of Spider-Man.
Mhm.
He gets home and he visits. Before he goes home after that particular run, he stops by and visits his nephew. His
Mhm.
nephew is Miles Morales, and
Right.
that's where he gets bit by the spider. Now, this is about 3 days, 4 days before Peter Parker was killed. Um, the night that he was bit by the spider, Miles Morales had like a horrible premonition of Peter Parker dying,
Mhm.
and sure enough, 3 days later, and so he took up the mantle. Eventually, the Ultimate Universe came to a horrible conclusion,
Yeah.
and the universe ended up imploding. And Miles Morales and a few other characters were brought from that universe into the main 616 comic universe.
Mhm.
So there's a Miles Morales in that universe. There's a version of Jessica Drew, Spider Woman, who's
Mhm.
actually a clone of Peter Parker. She too was brought into the main 616 universe as
Right.
not the Jessica Drew that we all know with the like the mystical powers and stuff like that as
Mhm.
Spider Woman, but just a direct clone of Peter Parker. Just happens to be a woman.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so there's multiple Spider people, and especially in like some recap storylines and stuff like that, where
Mhm.
they readdress the whole cloning saga that people hated back in the 90s.
Right.
Now, with the game, I believe with the game, they're just I think that they might go a completely different route where they're telling a story where Peter Parker has an opportunity to play mentor to a young person who has the same powers as him, and he wants to be the mentor type person that he needed.
Mhm.
And I think that that is awesome, and it works out so perfectly because Miles lost his father, Peter
Right.
lost his uncle.
Mhm.
Um, Peter's just like he's older than him by like 10 years, so like
Peter
there's
lost
that
everybody.
piece. Peter
Peter
lost
lost. He lost everybody. Mhm.
and Aunt May, yes.
Mhm.
Uh, and he wants to do right by that kid, but also at the same time, he wants him to be a better version of Spider-Man than he ever could be.
Right.
And I like that. You train. It's kind of like harkens back, and that's why I used the Star Wars reference when we first made that reference about Kate Bishop. But Yoda had said in the Last Jedi, he said,
Mhm.
we are what they grow beyond, and that line spoke to me on so many levels, and I
Mhm.
like how they address it or how that's shown through Peter's work, especially because they in more ways than one. Miles Morales is a little bit more like of a better Spider-Man than Peter was, including with the cloaking ability and the electrical discharge, the Venom strike. All of that is on point. He's a little bit better. Um, so I
I
don't
don't know if
necessarily
I would
want to
say
kill him.
better. I would say more unique. Because just for art, I mean, if you want to be technical, I feel like the way they wrote the character fits better for Spider-Man because Venom and cloaking and all that stuff, spiders, whatever. But I
Mhm.
still I don't know. I prefer Miles as well, but I wouldn't say better. I would just say different. Just for argument's sake.
I'm
For
cool
anyone
with the
who might
smoke.
be
I'm
Spider-Man.
I'm cool with the smoke, folk. I'm gonna go ahead and say I feel like Miles Morales is a better Spider-Man than Peter Parker, but I respect the prototype. I
Fair
respect
enough.
how Miles. I respect that Peter had to crawl so Miles could swing. Um,
Fair.
with
Fair.
that being said, I want to briefly go into a little bit of GTA stuff, and I wanted to ask you about your new iPhone. But yeah, so GTA, Cayo Perico, I think.
Man, there's so much non-information out right now that's just driving me insane. Right? Like it they the introduction video is amazing. But Rockstar is known for like even their trailers are nothing but teasers. That's all it is. It's a huge teaser. because you don't know if it's going to be free roam. You don't know if it's just going to be a mission. You don't know if you don't know anything about it. You just know that you're going to get some new stuff. We don't know how much it's going to cost. We know we're going to get a new heist. We don't know how much it's going to cost. We don't know anything. We just know that you can do the heist by yourself and you're good. You're getting a whole bunch of free stuff. That's all you know. The fact that they're doing it though, that's top notch. Like we've been waiting for a real update for a while. The casino heist, everyone has their opinions on it. I personally don't mind it, but I don't run the heist. It's a waste of time for me. I can build my businesses and make more money doing that than in the heist, personally. So like if me and one other person, if we build up our businesses together and then sell both of our businesses, we've made more money than the heist in probably a shorter amount of time. Maybe a shorter amount of time. So it's like I don't know like where they're going. Like I'm hoping like a lot of people are saying we don't need a free roam. Someone brought up a good point. In GTA 5 where the game started, the snow place, I can't remember the name. Someone was saying, why don't we get that?
Yaktown or Yanktown?
Yes, Yanktown. Why don't we get that map? Why do we have to go to this map that was introduced in Red Dead? Why not do something that we have? Because Rockstar is known for creating stuff that's what's that?
I didn't know that. See, Tech Boy. See, I didn't know that we had that was based on that map. I thought it was just a regular map. I found that out last night when we were talking in conversation. And you're right. That person in the Facebook group did bring up a good point. Do you remember what he said?
Yeah, he said he's not excited for it. But why bring in this new map when we have Yanktown that's unexplored? Why can't we travel there? Why isn't that free roam? Why don't we have businesses there? And it's a really, really great point. Like
it's pretty valid.
They're so focused on these weekly updates, which is cool, double money here, this free whatever or whatever. But like realistically, that's not what the community wanted. The community wants something of substance. The game has been out since I think online since 2014 or 2015, I think. And we've had maybe 2 or 3 updates. And nothing like, we got the MC businesses. There was an update to the CEO. There was a casino heist. And I think those are like the biggest 3 updates. And that's great. But it gets stale fast, like
Thanks.
You jump onto a game, you're not playing a game 5 years with no updates. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just feel like, and I know it takes time to program all of this. And we all know the Rockstar servers aren't, like anybody else's servers, but they put off GTA 6 for so long. They put out Red Dead 2, which was great. It was a good game. They put that out. They put out GTA 6. And, we finally found out that we're getting GTA 6 2022, but that may even be pushed back because of Corona. So it's like this update, it has to be something that's going to keep people here. And if it's just like some mission and some stuff, I don't think the retention rate's going to be great. Because even like when we play, we fell off too. Like we fell off hard. We went from playing every day to we just started playing again because of the update. And before that, maybe once every couple of weeks. Maybe. So
yeah, we fell off considerably.
Yeah. And a lot of people did. And like Kev, he goes on there to get the double money to check his businesses, and then he gets off. So it's like they need to come with some heat. And there are a lot of games that are the same way where they've had their versions for a while and they need to bring some heat. So like the Division, for example, the Division came out with a new update and then Destiny 2 came out with another update. I thought Destiny 2 was dead, but no, it's on and rocking, and I was looking at it and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. So I went and downloaded it, but I never turned it on. I was amazed at that. And there's so many games. Oh, no, I thought you were gonna say something. There's so many games that have these amazing updates coming out. And the fact that they care enough to do these updates, because they don't have to, they can just maintain the servers and say, play the game. We made it already. You got what you paid for. Because most of the updates are free. So it's a coin toss to see what's if this update's going to be good or not, or even I won't say worth it because you're not paying for anything. Nothing's coming out of pocket. So to start, it's worth it. Period. You're not paying for it. You already bought the game. It's worth it. Will it be worth it to play beyond one time though? Will it be worth it to keep the game going? I feel like that's where the question lies.
I think I agree, and I think that for me, I just remember going to that island when it was called, I think it was called Guarma or something,
Guarma,
whatever, in Red Dead Redemption 2, and I just thought to myself, it's not exactly a big island. So when people say free roam, I'm like, I mean, we talk about this game being a sandbox. It doesn't get more sandboxish than that. So
true.
like I agree in a lot of ways. Like we got to be mindful that this game is going to be coming out, and that Rockstar could have just left us hanging, and we could have just been in some sort of whatever. But
True.
at the same time, I also feel like I don't like being fed breadcrumbs to kind of tide me like or subsist
Well
on
said.
breadcrumbs until Final Fantasy 6 until the next game drops. And that's neither here nor there. I believe that I'm gonna let it be, because we do know that 2022, COVID permitting, the game will be coming out. And as we get closer to, I want to say 2022, there might be a little bit more alluding to what's going to like be like featured in GTA 6 and what players can expect. And I'm kind of psyched about it, but I'm also kind of wary because like Rockstar is good at what they do, but they also know how the system works. And if Rockstar don't do anything better than make video games, it's make money. And
Facts.
I'm worried they found the system. I worry they found the code that's going to keep just enough monks coming. You know what I mean? Just enough people online to keep them baiting in, to keep that money coming, and but not enough effort to kind of like really make any drastic or major improvements on gameplay quality of life.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think that they are trying to work for the community, but either way, they're gonna make money. Like it's not a bad game, right? There's nothing that's like it. In my opinion, this is opinion based. GTA 5 for the time and even to now is not a bad game. Could it be better? I can give you millions of ways that this game can be better. And we spoke about a few of them. Guest parking. Like, like I know I
I
said
don't have
that.
to worry about my car being destroyed while I go visit you at your apartment.
Facts. And then like the ability to use each other's vehicles, the ability to, use each other's Avengers or mobile operation centers, or to call your own, even if you're in whatever, because it'll get here faster than calling a car, whatever the case is. There's millions of things they can do to make the game better, but it's not a bad game. So, and they know that. So they kind of have us at a point where it's like, we know our game is good. Like, we know it. So I hope it's not like a power trip where it's like, well, you're going to play it anyway.
You're going to buy this, boy. You're going to buy that. You're going to keep coming back. And they're going to stay on the block pumping us with just enough junk to keep coming back.
Yeah. I mean, well, and if
I'm just playing, Rockstar, we love you.
Hell yeah, we do. But that's once again, that's I feel like the updates still aren't horrible, they're good updates. And what I would compare it to, like all in all, is the Avengers, and not in a good way. Because like with Rockstar, we're getting things and it's good for the time. But even before we got that, the game was okay. It was like whatever. But then like Avengers, we were all hyped for it. And now, even in a shorter amount of time than GTA, everybody in our friends group fell off of Avengers. Anytime I sign into the PS5, I see Grand Theft Auto, I see Red Dead, I see Final Fantasy, I see Miles Morales. I never see Avengers, and I have like 500 or 600 friends. I never see Avengers.
Avengers dropped. I think I heard on PC their online uh activity dropped 90%.
No surprise.
Um, they
I feel like the
didn't
game
make
wasn't
their
ready.
money back.
The
I
game wasn't
agree.
ready. Like
It
I,
wasn't.
I thought it was gonna be a lot more free roam. Like I like the fact that the maps are big. That's awesome. I thought it was gonna be a lot more free roam, and I just thought it was gonna be a better game. Like I don't know what better looks like, but I feel like if you were to grab a box of matches, put a black mark on one of them, and drop them to the ground, you would have a better game than Avengers.
Oh wow. I liked what they first came out with. I enjoyed the gameplay. I thoroughly enjoyed the storyline, and I really like Miss Marvel. I think she's going to be cool. I'm hyped that they're doing all this stuff. Again, Marvel is building up for their young Avengers, y'all. I'm telling you, mark my words. Kamala Khan, you have Kate Bishop, you have Miles Morales. Like, we're going to keep seeing more and more. And I don't know if you guys knew, but for a little while, when Miles Morales first came to the 616 in
Mhm.
the comic, he was on a team with young Cyclops, Miss Marvel, and a couple of other characters, and they
You
were
mean the
called
young X-Men,
the
right? Not
Champions.
it wasn't just Cyclops, it was a few of them, wasn't it? From the
It
X-Men?
was a it was I don't remember the other person, but there was a few of them. But
Mm-hmm.
they were called the Champions
Mm-hmm.
for a little while, and it was a shot because it was you were right. It was young Cyclops because this particular group of X-Men got brought to the future by Beast to
Right.
help deal with the current Cyclops, who at the time had just killed Professor X after the Avengers versus X-Men situation when the Phoenix Force came back and was looking to possess the body of Hope Summers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with that all being said, I just felt like, and I think this might be a Square Enix issue, and I don't know if we get to talk about it a lot. Square Enix seems to care more about the Kingdom Hearts games and their Final Fantasy games, and less about the titles that they're hired to work on by other like companies and stuff. Like any title that doesn't have a Final Fantasy in front of it, or any other corresponding title that might go with Square, including the Dragon Quest series now because of Enix. Um, it looks bad. It looks
Mm-hmm.
real bad. Just to see that they don't have to take that much amount of care. Now, I
Right.
brought that up to really bring up another point. Crystal Dynamics
Mm-hmm.
is the main company that worked on
On
that
Avengers, isn't
on
it?
the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and I don't know if you remember when Final Fantasy VII remake was still getting made.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal Dynamics was the lead on was one of the lead groups of that was working with the programming team to get that done until they
Mm-hmm.
weren't, and they were pulled
Correct.
off that project. And then they pulled out the Avengers. Now, is this a reflection of the way Crystal Dynamics puts their games together? Is this a reflection of SquareSoft's or Square Enix's
Mm-hmm.
inability to supply and provide enough guidance, supervision, and support for the companies that they hire to work on their titles, or the titles that what I'm saying, that they're tasked to do?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it a combination of the two? Um, is it Crystal Dynamics reacting to being taken off the Final Fantasy VII project? There's so many questions I got.
I hear that. I can't answer any of them. Not one.
Mm-hmm.
I have no
Just
answers
things,
for you.
yeah, just things that are on my mind as I see how bad the game is doing right now. And
Mm-hmm.
then we see that Kate Bishop is coming out, and please, say what you will. I don't hate the character. I don't hate Hawkeye. I don't hate any of the Hawkeyes. I just, if I was in the middle of an intergalactic war with creatures from all over the galaxy and universe who have the ability to harness powers that I've never seen the likes of before, I would want to go into battle with a little bit more than some bow and arrows. Anyway,
I can't argue. I'm a fan of bow and arrows, but I can't argue with your point at all. Because even like we haven't seen what's his face, Nova. Like we haven't even seen Nova. And that actually had me really frustrated. I was really frustrated. We saw the core. Why haven't we seen Nova yet? I'm sorry, I don't want to go off on a little tangent, but it's like, why not? Where's Nova? We saw the core. The core is destroyed. Give me Nova.
So we lost Chadwick before the Avengers drop. And I made this, and this was the main point I made in an article that I wrote about the Avengers. Literally, the article was called like "Avengers: What Happened." When they knew that Chadwick Boseman was gone, they had an opportunity to rush and do whatever they needed to do to get the Black Panther character available. The fact that Chadwick Boseman had passed away and we didn't have a Black Panther character playable in the Avengers title immediately at launch, I felt like was the worst thing that they could have done. And
well, let me say this real quick, because he passed really, really soon to the coming out of the game, maybe 3 weeks. And for how the characters are developed, and we see like Kate Bishop has a full story, I don't think they had enough time to do that. Like at this point now, we know we're getting both Hawkeyes. Now, if they started working on it then, the update after the second Hawkeye should be, or even after Spider-Man, because they might have an order to things. Then it should be Black Panther, because it's they still have to go and program him into the game. They have to get all the art. They have to get the voice actor. They have to create a whole new story, whole new levels, whole new every character is different. No two characters have the same move. Period. So they have to go and create whole new character sets, and it's a lot that goes into it. So I understand why we didn't have one. I don't kind of understand why there's no like soft date, not even a hard date, like a soft date, like mid 2021, like something. That's just for me. Like, you don't have to tell us everything, but give us an update as to who we're gonna get. Like, let us get excited. Let us look up the characters. Like Kate Bishop, I knew about because I'm a nerd, but who else actually knows about Kate Bishop?
Agreed completely. There was a few other things we wanted to discuss, but it looks like we're out of time for right now. I will say the next conversation that we do have, I would love to learn a little bit more about your phone. I wanted to talk a little bit about, well, I'll just go ahead and say it right now. I wanted to shout out The Mandalorian and just the directors and everybody over there at Team Mandalorian, including what's her name, Rosario Dawson, who took up the lightsabers as Ahsoka Tano and did the damn thing. We learned a lot about Baby Yoda, who is now known as Grogu. I was super hyped, and I can't wait to see what they do with the character. I hope they do a spinoff show with Rosario Dawson. I hope they do a spinoff movie with Rosario Dawson. I hope all the positive things that could happen with Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka Tano, including hopefully seeing her link up with Ezra Bridger, is something that we get to see. That's all I can say. I'm just gonna leave it there. Like Star Wars is doing the damn thing.
Right. Now I'm with it. So next for the next one, we make sure that we lead with that, because The Mandalorian is doing really well right now. That's like one of the only shows that I'm actually watching, and I am 100% impressed. I wouldn't change anything in The Mandalorian. I'm there. They got me. It makes me want to go back and watch all the other Star Wars movies and all the Star Wars shows. I'm here. You got me back in Star Wars. They did their thing. So we definitely got to talk about that. And we got to get Trey on, because Trey is a Star Wars head. Oh my goodness. If we want to talk timeline and I forgot the word that he uses, but if we want to talk Star Wars, we got to get Trey. Got to. There's no way around it.
So with that being said, I do hope we get to talk a little bit more about just a few more of these things, including Jamal. I kind of wanted to break. I'm not a big anime guy, but I'm hoping that you kind of make me into one and tell me
Bro,
what I should be looking out for and stuff
bro,
like that. I hope
you
we get a chance to talk a little bit about that kind of stuff. Um, and if you're looking to find us, you can find us both on YouTube. You can find Jamal over at Life with Tech Boy. You can find me and my streams over at Mr. King 712 on YouTube. Please look out for our boy Cherry Jarrett, Retro Jarrett, as he puts out all of his information with year kicks for all the top of the line sneaker reviews. That's YEEERKICKS. And just just keep checking us, checking for us and whatnot, and we'll continue to have these shows. If there's anything that you think that we need to be talking about or want to hear a little bit more about, please reach out to us through the Facebook group for the Nerds List, or check out the nerdslist.com, and also check out our Patreon. Jamal, is there anything else you want to say to the folks?
No, that's it. You nailed it all. Guys, thank you so much for listening, and can't wait to get some more information to you guys.
All right, no doubt. So thanks again for checking us out. This is the first episode of In the Lenses. Y'all have a good night. Take care.
Peace.